Hello and welcome to Travel with Disabilities. You're here with Ryan. Now, my main topic is quite a deep, dark subject, depending whereabouts you are with it, if you suffered from it. So, slight trigger warning out there for you, if this sort of thing affects you, then move on. But if you're interested in looking at ways to overcome and progress forward after such things, then stick with me. I'll be able to help you. Trust me. Now, to this day, this day, 8 years ago, I would have come off a ward. I would have come out of surgery after having brain surgery for my epilepsy. But unfortunately, with the kicker, I had a stroke on the operating table. And now, as it's widely known, there are many effects from a stroke. I'm going to run through some of my personal ones and the process that I went through. So if you're at the beginning of this journey, I'm sorry, it will get better once everything's settled and you start going through into the rehabilitation and the physio side of things. Just stick with it and move forward, and you will get there. Now, as I say, 8 years today would have been my surgery day for my epilepsy brain surgery. Unfortunately, the stroke happened, therefore, as the brain surgery went, it was successful, but the side effects of it, I had a stroke. There we are. The effects, that's where we're getting at. The effects of it. The main one, the physical effects. Now you may well notice that my left arm isn't going up as possible, and that's why, because it's my left side that was paralysed, and I was full fast positive, so I couldn't move my face, my arms, speak. I could swallow, but you got to remember, I come out of surgery. I was recovering from that as well. So the main effects being the physical effects being the most obvious. I was chair-bound for a number of months. I can still only walk, sometimes only a few meters, and then have to stop. Fatigue being a massive one. I could do, let's take an average day for the average Joe blogs in society. Goes to work, does the bits and bobs at work, comes home, needs to nip to the shop. I therefore, in the shop, become hypersensitive. I'm aware that I'm safe in a safe place. However, I become flustered, panicky, sometimes hot and cold sweats, and I'm zipping around like Tom and Jerry. For those that you are old enough to remember Tom and Jerry, of course. The cognitive side of me wasn't particularly affected. However, the side effects I do have is brain fog. Now, that's a term used for people that just forget what they're talking about. You know, when you have a moment when you're mid-conversation, it will just go blank and you'll forget totally. Sometimes forever, sometimes not all. And then it'll just pop back. And you could be on about the next, in another subject, like, oh yeah, that's what I was on about. But actually it wasn't. And the effort, whether that be the mental effort or the physical, these are both two things now that tie in together. The effort that it takes is initially at the first start, at the start line, after it's horrendous. The fatigue is something I will hopefully never experience again. I was at the point where I was non-rousable. Obviously, everything checked out fine, so they just left me to rest along the line. And then once I was up, that's when they were dying at the physiotherapists, as I call them, were dying in and being like, doing their job, a fantastic job that they do. And the only way I can explain that effort is, I remember, I'll give you an example, and this is just a short, sharp thought that's come in my brain just for you. I say just for you, just in general, but you can have it free of charge. Now, this is later on in the rehabilitation. It's 6-7 weeks easily, where I was standing up and aided, not on my own, aided, so nurse or physio, whoever it was, up at each side, and then putting my box, so literally just standing up. I was getting dressed, putting some fresh clothes on, and that was me done for the day. Which is mental. I was night everyone. And it took 2 years to recover from the brain surgery alone. But then you've got the stroke and the rehabilitation, and the sad but realistic thing it is, it's down to you, and only you. If you're, unfortunately, with strokes, if your cognitive ability is affected, you don't therefore have capacity to say, let's get up and move. I know my body's not signalling right, I can't feel anything, can't control anything, but I need to work. I mean, I remember the first movement I got was literally, imagine underneath my hand So that my arm is the mattress. My left arm was doing that, literally. Or that's all the movement that it was doing. Obviously, I was over the moon that it was put that effort, the concentration was unreal. And it still is now when I go see the physios and I get to a different stage and then it's a different challenge and it's just like the beginning again. The old snakes and ladders, you get to the top, you're on a high, and it's, oh no, now I need to do this. Alright, okay. But for some people they're fine. You know, they get to a point where they feel they can get on with a good quality of life and don't possess any more other, functionality. For me personally, it drives me so much chronic because I had a good strong work ethic and it wiped that off the scale. And being able to write, to stand, to balance, to turn to your left or to your right. The amount of times I fell over, I must have had stacks of paperwork and accident forms on in a period of time that I was with the nursing team at the hospital and then moved over to the intense stroke unit rehabilitation place. I was at the hospital 5 weeks and then I believe another 6 weeks. Don't quote me on numbers, that's another thing, numbers, speech, it depends which part of your brain's affected to what. Some people have, like me personally, I can get quite emotional fairly quick. And obviously it's towards the frontal lobe of your brain, it was towards here that's died off. And you can't control the tears. Some people say it's like crocodile tears. What are you doing this for? What are you doing that for? And in some cases it is crocodile tears where you're thinking, why am I crying? Someone's just said, oh, that's a cute hedgehog. Whatever, I'm just using that as an example. Or it could be something real sinister, whether someone's been passed that you've dearly loved and there's no emotion shown at all. Another big factor that you're going to contend with as well is everybody in the world, life's a normal, a daily stroke, the rehabilitation, life still goes on. There's still going to be weddings, there's still going to be funerals, there's still going to be christenings, happy, sad, that you can't attend because you're stuck in a bed, learning how to walk, and pull your pants up and all the rest of it, and brush your teeth and swallow. And that's a hard factor I couldn't hold my nearest and dearest newborn child till it was about 3 months, 4 months, because I think it was probably longer than that. He was tiny anyway, but I was not able to. I wasn't cognitively stable enough or had the physical strength. And when I did, afterwards, I probably fell asleep. I can't remember much. And that's, the reality of having a stroke. To 8 years on, to this day, I still go to physio every 4 weeks. And I've gone from nothing to something, in the sense of I've got some functionality back. Not to the extent that it could be, and it will be one day. Now, that's just down to my stubbornness. But I've always lived by the mantra of what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. And there's a part of my brain that's died off. I've learned to accept that, and I took accountability for it when I signed dotted line to say, yes, go ahead with the surgery. I knew there were risks involved and went forward for the better, because it cut the seizures, swiped them down easily by half, but it was just a risk, and that card was pulled that day. Due to all the disabilities that I've got, / health issues, I've come across many people that unfortunately aren't as lucky as I am. And as time goes on, how you're learning very quickly how brittle life is. And because you've had to take a bite out of a crap sandwich, you get over the little things. It's making sure that you ring up and text people and tell people your nearest and dearest, whoever they may be, if you've lucky enough to have a good social circle, then, it's about telling those that you love them and how much they mean to you. Right? And going back to the social circle, just while my brain's on it, yeah, it's not an overnight thing of the old recovery. I wasn't up and about within a month or 2 months. It was a long time, and yeah, like as I said earlier, life still goes on. I remember getting out, and by the time I'd got to a stable cognitive ability where I could even take small nuggets of information in, half the friends and people I knew that they'd moved on and had children, sort of thing, which is a crazy thought. They got married or divorced, whatever. But that's another thing that you just got to accept. The sacrifices and those things that you sacrifice to get better. You can't always be there for them. You can't always relive them. It's not like I'm going to sacrifice that game of football knowing that you can go watch another game. You can't go watch another wedding, can you? Unless they get divorced and remarried. But is that a wedding you really want to go to again? Probably not. Not me anyway. And it's not also yourself, it's the weight load on your friends and your family. Now, I'm not a very religious person. I don't believe, in much other than luck. I've had a lot of luck over the years, and the hope that I carry. I have a tattoo on my body saying life is worth nothing without family, friendship, and hope. Because if you don't carry hope with you, life's worth nothing. And always trust the process, because it's one of those where you will get there. You have just got to be so persistent, and there are times, I promise you, and I can tell you from I've been there, where you're like, no, sod this, I'm not doing any more, and you'll have a paddy, and then you're like, well, nobody's gonna pick that sock up off the floor, because when you've dropped it 12 times, and you could do it yesterday, but you can't do it that day, that morning, that you get up, and you drop it, and you got to bend over to get it. So today has been full of emotion. Not because I'm sad and weary, dreary. It's because I'm so grateful to the people that I love and respect, and the help that they have given me, even whether they've just lent me an ear. Yeah. Just being as individuals. I hope, Ryan, how are we doing? That is it. And for those that are unfortunate enough to be in the position of just having a stroke, do not give up. Do not. I promise you, you will get there. Whether you have to rewind this and listen to it, my boring voice, over and over again, you will get there. Now, if I can help in any way, don't be afraid to get someone to reach out and give me a comment, and I will personally get back to yourselves. For those that are midway up their rehabilitation or stroke, after a stroke or brain surgery, again, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Don't bottle up the emotions that sit there, because they'll weigh heavy. Trust me, it does weigh heavy sometimes. I mean, the biggest therapy for me personally, is I'll talk to anybody, and I'm an open book. I'll tell them, but I will warn them if you want to know, I'll quite happily tell you, but you've got to have like an hour and a half if you want a detailed chat, or whether even a skim over on my medical history is about 40 minutes. But it's not about me, it's about you. And I hope for those that are going through crap times that you're able to make that first step because remember, that first step is the hardest step. And I'm telling you, from a person, take it from a person that's learned how to walk more times than anybody's put the socks on. The first step is always the hardest. Then you get into bed, you know you've done what you can do, and then the next day you know you can go a bit further. But don't be afraid of failure either, i.e. rest-wise. I'm not talking just laze it off in bed, because then that again will mean that you fail, just permanently fail. But if you've had 4 days of consecutive physio 3 times a day, or twice a day, and you're hanging, let's say, you will, if they come in and be like, just say to them, hold up, I just want to sleep. If that's what you want to do, just sleep, then you probably won't even get a chance to, because you will be asleep. But from a person that's had a very emotional day, I'll leave you with them few words, and I wish you the best, all of you, the best of help. I wish you all the best of health and speedy recoveries, if there are anybody out there watching in a dark place. Till next time, ciao for now.